God, it's fucking Saturday, isn't it? It's Saturday and I have to yap. No, but for real, I do have some things to say. But more importantly, before anything else, before even asking you how you are and pretending I care, I do care. Come on, I just had to make the joke. I mean, I care to the extent that, you get what I'm saying, okay? I hope you're doing all right. But before any of that, which now is after any of that, thanks Vanna1307 for subscribing to me on YouTube. And thank you Goldlocks for following me yesterday. You sneaky little cutie. I wasn't on yesterday. What are you doing? Trying to fly, below the radar? I'm gonna pick it up. And thanks to unknown user, which that person followed me 11 days ago and I never got that notification before. Unknown user? I would have made a joke at least about the name. Anyway, so thank you. God looks an unknown user. And in the case of unknown user, better late than never, I guess. Noob streamer, don't worry about it. The music was this. White Bat Audio, Carol Casey, Fractals. You can say that, you don't need me to tell you anything. So, what's going to happen later on? Not much later. There's something I have to say first. But what's going to happen after that is we're going to look at, way back, I had pinned 3 tabs on YouTube about, from this channel. And it was an interesting short videos. You can see this is also short. It was kind of like this, this kind of format, which, it was interesting, and we looked at something and it was like, it's interesting to look at and talk about it, and we looked at 1 or 2, I don't remember. Then I was like, hey, next time we're gonna watch this and then we're gonna watch this as well and talk about them, right? And that never happened because every superpower disorder, what the fuck? Anyway, and I wanted to look at them ever since then with you, because I haven't watched them. And it kept getting on the backlog, And so now it's Saturday, and I haven't had fucking coffee or anything. And so I thought, maybe that's what that's what I want to do. Maybe it's time to finish it, and watch these 2 back to back and talk to them. To them? Holy shit, I'm still sleeping. About them. But yeah, as I said before we go into that, let me tell you one thing, right? So this is my channel. This is me right now. But I gotta tell you, we have to have a chat, a friendly chat, okay? A short one, perhaps. So there seems to be this misconception of my comment section on my videos being a democracy when it comes to comments like what Draxos says, which is why is this 3 hours? What the heck? I'm fucking wheezing because I've barely had any water. Jesus fucking... Why is this 3 hours? So, to which I replied, I'm not even sure what you're asking. Which I'm not. Because I can't for a moment believe that the person is being literal and literally asking, oh, why is this 3 hours? What the heck? So I have to, because if that's the case, so there are 3 options here, okay? All 3 of them lead to the morbid reminder that my comment section isn't a democracy when it comes to fucking morons. And here are the 3 paths here. So the first path is that this is a literal question. All right, so this person doesn't understand beyond any other concept why a video can be 3 hours long, which that's a removal, because I'm not gonna waste time on a comment like that. And I'll tell you what my stance is on comments in general afterwards. And to my question, like, what are you even asking? I got a reply from Lord Muffin Token, who tags me and repeats why it's nearly 3 hours. To which the same paths apply and the same solutions for both of them. So as I said, either they're both serious, in which case that's lamentable actually, and also like, yeah, I'm gonna like delete that comment. The second option is that they genuinely found it funny to ask that as a joke, which, listen, when the fact that somebody thinks what they're saying is funny is funnier than what they're saying, that's a delete moment for my comments, okay? When you are that fucking cringy, I'm gonna proceed and like, show you the door. Or show your comment the door, that is. And, repeat offense is gonna be you going through that door, of course. And the third option is that they're trolling, in which case, I guess the desired result would be like a response that maybe takes the conversation like somewhere where the target, in this scenario, me, gets frustrated, or, gets a reaction that can then be, ammunitionized against them, which, the solution to that. So, congratulations to you two. You have outed yourselves as either very obvious trolls or honestly just stupid. So, you know where these comments are going, and I did reply to Lord Muffin as well, which I'm gonna rectify that mistake. And the reply was, and I can show you if you want, it was interesting. The reply was, well, questions like that only beget answers like, because that's its length. Because that's its duration. But that's a really non-constructive conversation. So these two comments I think are gonna go. And then I had like this gem here from Manuela Peters, or Manuel A. Peters. Manuel A. Peters. Whatever, 1059, just to say the full name. Telling me, you will never be a woman. Okay. So I reported that comment because that's obviously like racist and hate speech, obviously. And it does, like, comments like this, it's not the words themselves, it's the intention that makes me like kinda just irky, but yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. You three have literally just blown my mind once more with like how stupid things can get on YouTube in the comment sections of various videos. My mind is blown also by this. Like, holy shit. I have so many, I would like to say kind of entertaining videos, whether it's like takes you don't agree with, or takes you agree with, or gameplay that you find miserable and you just hate watch, or you just watch it because you genuinely need background noise, or you just like it, And from all those videos, which are like 380 videos right now, yeah? This one here about 40k, with this unassuming title and unassuming thumbnail, this one is what gets me 471 views. Listen, thank you. That is humbling. That is humbling. Besides the fact that, like, that is extremely curious to me. Thank you. Even if you hate watched it, like, this is still one view. you know. So thank you for that. I didn't expect that. And I don't like, I don't mind if somebody like rips it apart completely or shits on it or whatever, you know. I do the same on other videos. Or you know, if somebody agrees and like wants to take some of the things I said further, just go fucking ahead. I don't mind it. um, and again, I mean, even in the video description, I'm saying, hey, you know, not everyone is going to agree at the end of the day with everyone else. You know, we all have our takes and we all have our opinions, and you know, whatever, we share them, right? So, um, thanks. Honestly, that's 400 views. Can you see the numbers on my other videos? 2 digits, single digits. Are you fucking kidding me? Thanks. It hasn't been liked or disliked as far as I can tell. I think it's been disliked once and liked twice or something. Uh, I don't mind that. But thank you. For real. Like, you're okay, that's cool. And you know, obviously, visibility from YouTube coming in clutch, I guess. But yeah, I'm just curious how come this. But I've never talked about, like, I've never done any other video about this, or stream rather. And boom, just wow, okay. Anyway, just happy day for Dobby, I guess, right? Dobby got a sock from Lord YouTube, I guess. Thanks, and to the viewers as well. Anyway, um, yeah. So you know, obviously, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go and like delete that comment because it just it's. Thank you for outing yourselves, all three of you. Thank you. So I can actually target my orbital fucking, you know, ion cannon and wipe your shitty comments out of existence, which I should have never fucking replied to anyways. So how the fuck do you do that? Let me go and try and do that. But like I wanted you to see that because holy shit, man. Imagine I'll get into it. Wait a moment. I'll fucking get into it, but give me a sec. So where is that fucking comment? Let me show you the door, bitch. Remove that shit. There we go. I'd rather have no comment, man. Not even joking. I would rather have no comment than have that comment. Oh yeah. Just because it is just so stupid. I'm sorry. It is so stupid. It was stupid of me to fucking even reply to the second guy. Obviously, the guy going like, "Oh, you will never be a woman." It is like, why? First of all, why are you using like why is it an acronym? You know, why are you not saying what you want to say? Are you like afraid of something? Is it like, have you demonized this in your mind and you don't want to like say those words out loud? What the fuck, you know? Hi, Neris. Yeah, newsflash. Nobody's trying to be anything. People just are what they are and they feel what they feel, and that's it. Nobody's trying to do anything. Oh, hey, that's like my order. Damn. Get fucked for 5 minutes. Um, and that was like, you know. And I'll be right back, okay? Don't worry about it. 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. You can stop getting fucked. So, yeah, do we need to turn this into a, like, why that comment is like bigoted and stupid and fucking everything that is wrong with mankind right now? But whatever, dude. Like, yeah, just I can imagine these people going like, maybe the guy who asked the question was like, with his homies or whatever, going like, hey, look at this, look at me trolling like this random YouTuber who doesn't matter and like is no one on YouTube on the large scale. Look at the comment I left there. I'm asking them, why the fuck is this video 3 hours? Isn't that funny? Oh my god, because I still refuse to believe. I refuse to believe that was a serious question. I refuse to believe that. It's just impossible. If that was a serious question, like, I don't know, dude. And so my stance, let's move to something more interesting. Like, again, I don't want to talk about the you will never be a woman guy, because that is like, dude, that can be, I can sink my little fangs on that thing and squeeze so much sanguine runtime from my stream that we're gonna be here until tomorrow. I don't want to do that. We all know what the fuck is going on. Like, why would I, like, which ties in with what I want to say next, which is basically that, like, normally you would want to leave the comments intact, leave your comments intact, so you can then make those cool videos that I watch sometimes. I just binge watch like from other streamers, where they do this like replying to your toxic comments, and I could do something like that, but I don't give a shit, dude. I don't know. I don't know. It's like I don't care about that. I know it can probably get me views and it can probably get me, like, I don't know, reactions or whatever. I'd rather talk about, how your day was or how my day was, and like, other things that are nice, like thanking you for watching and for following and subscribing and shit. Um, or talk about, I don't know, shitty takes on the internet, or trash talk Final Fantasy or something. It's far more constructive than like wasting time going through comments that are gonna be like, you fucking tranny, or shit like that. It's like, bro, nah. I'm just gonna use the powers vested upon me by the holy YouTube, like, high council, and just delete comments. Um, though obviously, if such comments were, to be numerous, that would be kind of a pain to moderate, wouldn't it? And in that case, I would just ignore them, but I don't think I would talk about them even then. Um, and to prove my point, like, look at I've been talking about this, and that's just 3 comments. 2 of them are saying the same thing, by the way, and the third one is a predictable, like, hate speech comment. And I've been talking about it for already fucking 20 minutes. Oh boy. These guys are giving me free material, but I'm gonna turn it down because, yeah, I want to spend my Saturday talking about, the implications of, like, the whole "you will never be a woman" kind of comment, and like sit here and explain for the millionth time, like, my point of view on this, and like then also talk about, like, my own goals and my own, like, transition and all that. I'm just a little yapper, dude. I don't know. I want to yap about, like, stupid shit, but not toxic shit, kinda. I mean, sometimes, I guess, but this is not one of those times. Definitely not on my fucking Saturday. So yeah, I just, in these cases where it's like contained, I can just go and delete. And hey, no biggie, okay? Um, if for a moment I was gonna take these guys seriously, like, just sit there and look at them and be like, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt that you're actually a human being, uh, and that you can be decent. In this case, like, examine your thoughts. You know, examine your feelings and your thoughts before reacting like that. And that's all I'm gonna say. It's like, yeah, there is a lot to be found in introspection, valuable introspection, you know, caused by your childish behavior, you know. But anyway, so moving on to more fertile grounds, or other grounds that are fertile in a better way, which is this. And so you know how this goes. I mean, I'll just mute myself, I'll try to adjust the volume as we go, and considering that there's like so many little, like, you know, all these, so many circles to talk about, okay? God, I read begging here, and I don't know. Okay, and manipulation tactic, begging. Cool. But so, I'm gonna be pausing a lot because this seems condensed as fuck. And obviously, you know, neither I or them are experts and professionals. So this is just my take on somebody's video that is about a subject. That's it. As per usual, all the legal shit, like, you know, copyright, blah, 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 you know it. I don't mean any trespass or anything like that. I'm just here to, you know, make fun with you, you know, not out of you, but with you. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna discuss these things and maybe relate them to my past experiences if I have any of this kind, which by the name, yeah, some of them. And I'll also let you know which of these I've engaged in myself and why and how it feels knowing it, if I have, okay? Because I can see at least one, maybe two. We'll see. I'll wait for the explanation. But remember, again, we're not like professionals, you know. It's just looking at videos and reacting. Not even reacting, just talking about, yeah? Okay. Right, let's test the sound first. I'm gonna mute myself and let it roll for a little bit and see what my fucking measurements show, you know, what the scouter says about the sound levels of this video.
Gaslighting. This is when someone makes you doubt what you...
Would you say that is okay? I would say that's okay. That sounded pretty legit to me. Do you think this hand's voice is like too loud, or maybe it's too loud? I don't know. Maybe it's not loud enough. It's like the measurement is like right in the middle of green and yellow and the indication. All right, I'll believe you. So let's see about like the first one, which seems to be gaslighting. Okay. Let's see what the hand has to say.
Gaslighting. This is when someone makes you doubt what you know is true. They might deny that something happened, even when you have proof. It's like if you saw a dog in the park and someone else keeps telling you it was a cat. They do this so much that you start to wonder if you really saw a dog. This tactic can make you question your own memory or feelings.
I mean, that's an easy one to start on. I have been gaslit quite a lot throughout my life because of my parents. They're both, I've said this before, but they're both, you know, they're NPD. So yeah, they've denied experiences that I've had. Quite fucking potent experiences, by the way. Not experiences that you can go like, maybe it wasn't like that, but like really heavy stuff. And this is usually what they're gonna deny as well. What do you want me to tell you? It's correct as far as I know, and holy shit, it's malicious. Like, when somebody is trying to make you doubt what you feel in an unhealthy way, because hey, listen, we're not infallible, all right? Somebody might be making you doubt what you think and feel, in a healthy way. And sometimes they might do that in a not nice way, but the motive is not going to be that they want to gaslight you, but rather that they question you. You know, they question your choices, they question your memory, not necessarily towards. So, you know, you have to filter it a little bit, okay? You can't go, anything that ever questions me is like an obvious malicious attempt at controlling me. You know, it's not like that. Um, so, you know, don't like don't be super aware of it, if that makes sense. At the same time, if you do notice patterns and some things just don't make sense, then you should start questioning, you know, in my opinion. Anyway, I mean, these two are easy. Guilt tripping, come on, dude. We all know what that is. Anyway, you know, for completion's sake, I'm gonna like let it roll.
Guilt tripping. This happens when someone makes you feel guilty to get you to do something for them. For example, if you decide not to go to a friend's house because you're tired, and they say, "After all I've done for you, you can't even visit me?" They use guilt to try to convince you to do what they want, making you feel bad for making your own choice.
Yeah, true. But again, just like, of course, I'm not defending these tactics, right? I'm just telling you something else than the video is saying. I don't want to repeat what they're saying, so I'm just bringing it from the other side around. I'm bringing it through the back so that we can see like also other sides of this. Usually, we guilt trip ourselves. That is the reality of it. Like a lot of times we guilt trip ourselves. I've seen it a lot. People putting themselves into situations that they don't want to be in just because they would feel guilty otherwise. It's insane. You could argue that the other person makes them feel that, um, which can be true, of course, because this is a very real thing, a very real tactic, actually. Um, but just examine how much of this is coming from you, how much of this is coming from the other person, and as always, don't confuse it with like somebody going like, "Hey, you know, I really wanted to see you, and I even like prepared this and that. Where were you?" You know, that can be genuine concern. You know, that can be genuine like, "I really wanted this, and you decided to do differently when we had arranged something else. And where are you then?" That's not guilt tripping. That's just the person expressing their frustration with the choice you made, which paints you as unreliable. And they hate that because they want to be with you, you know, they want to hang out. So, in this example, so always just consider all possible scenarios and don't exclude yourself from being the cause of these things, because sometimes yourself is your worst enemy, you know, as they say. Very deep. A very deep Saturday morning. A very deep Yapper Day morning. Um, which none of what I'm saying, I'm gonna disclaim that right now, none of what I'm saying is trying to disprove that these are legitimate, dangerous, and malicious practices that some people will engage in. Okay? That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just like offering more of a 360 view on the matter, okay? Um, because otherwise, I mean, the guy so far, um, the hand's voice is like is saying stuff that is correct, far as I know, without being an expert. Notice that. Let's go on.
Love bombing. This is when someone gives you a lot of compliments, attention, and gifts all at once to make you like them a lot. It's like if someone you just met starts calling you their best friend and gives you your favorite snacks every day. They do this not just to be nice, but to make you feel like you owe them something or should trust them quickly.
Yeah, that was very simplistic and not exactly how it works. This hand here is giving us examples that are the most vanilla cases and often the most obvious cases. However, everything that the hand has talked about can have variations that are going to be very, very stealthy. Love bombing itself It's not really that obvious usually, or rather, it's hiding in plain sight. I know that because I have done this. I have actually done this, or at the very least accused of having done this. So I'll take their word for it. And after that, I was like kind of aware of it and going like, am I doing that a lot? Like, just kind of doubting. Um, but I will assume that I have at least done it a bit. Because the person seemed like genuine when they told me. I don't know. Anyway, in my experience, this usually is it can be used to make somebody feel comfortable and loved and all the things that they crave in order to achieve something, but nothing as shallow as, making them do what you want or anything. Uh, my own goal with that, if I did do it, but again, I'll take the word of the person that told me, who was my partner at the time. My goal was to honestly make them feel like what they craved, you know. But I understand it was way too much, and it backfired as well because, like, when you say the same thing too many times, or when you're overwhelmingly positive or overwhelmingly, like, giving, yeah, it can trip the other person up, Um, so yeah, I guess that's a thing. But yeah, it's usually like the way that it's been done to me, because it has been done to me, was kind of different, kind of different. Where the person was like, I would express a concern, and that's something I didn't do, by the way. So maybe I didn't love bomb in the end. I would express issues or concerns with the relationship, and the person would be like, listen, I love you so much, you're the best, blah 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 blah, like, and I would be like, yeah, that's very nice of you, that's very cute to say and all that. And the person just wouldn't, and I was like, yeah, but can we also discuss this? And the person was like, no, look, nothing is wrong, I absolutely love you, you're amazing, you're the only one I want, like, can we please move on? Like, trying to literally love bomb me out of like any serious discussion about issues that I might have had. So yeah, it's usually you'll catch it. It's not. It's more subtle than the person is saying. Hi, Lara. How are you doing? Welcome to my TED talk about nasty things. How's your morning so far? If I will go to the zoo today, damn, are they displaying you? That's very nice of them. I thought they had standards, but apparently they'll take any animal. My morning, I don't know. I'm not a morning person. I usually am not a morning person either. But now I came here to yap. I don't know. Did you laugh at my zoo joke about you being the actual animal? Anyway, I laughed. I'm just joking, okay? I'm just being a little bit toxic. Don't worry about it. It's Dev who is the actual animal. Why? Why is Dev the actual animal? Is that a discussion? Where is this discussion gonna go? He's a donkey? Why? What did he do? Man, I just like to bully him. Alright, fair enough, okay. Anyway, I was looking at this video and talking about like what I've experienced with these things, right? I'm gonna go back to it and then, you know, there's also this one. I'm gonna like watch them and we'll see what's up. And that's basically it. And then I don't know, I'll talk, I'll yap more, I guess. After that. Maybe I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so
Fear-mongering. This is when someone tries to scare you into doing what they want. They might tell you something really bad will happen if you don't follow their advice. For example, if someone says, "If you don't study with me, you'll definitely fail the test." They're trying to scare you into studying with them, even if that's not true.
so I'm not sure this qualifies. Um, oh, you're getting star railed again? Damn. So I'm not sure like fear mongering, right? Okay, yeah, of course it is a thing, but I don't think that one's effective because it's very easy to like to see. I don't think I've ever. I don't know, as a manipulation tactic. Your network has crashed. What do you mean? What network? Like, you'll tell me. I don't understand. What crashed exactly? At least it wasn't your PC, I guess. No internet on your PC, amazing. Somebody's out there chewing the cables. So yeah, this thing is like if you don't do that, something bad is gonna happen to you. Dude, I have not seen this ever since kindergarten or something, you know. Um, so I don't know what to tell you about that. I don't think that's like common. I don't think that's common at all. I guess it's up there though. It deserves its place. I guess somebody can more discreetly try to do that like when you're adults, I guess. But it's usually like not even fear mongering. It's usually just blackmail or extortion. Like, you know, you should do that or I'm gonna stop being your friend or something like that. Fear mongering isn't big on interpersonal, but is hugely successful on a larger scale. I agree. I mean, see the news tab down there on my screen? If I fucking roll my mouse over that, all you're going to see is basically catastrophology. So yeah, yeah. Which I'm not saying is, you know, these events aren't real or aren't like important, but bombarding people with like subjects that are specifically like, you know, to cause fear and like cause people to huddle in their homes, you know, yeah, that can be used definitely. But moving on, but as I said, I mean, it's usually gonna come in the form of like extortion. Like, you should change that because if you don't, then our relationship is over, or our friendship is over. You know, shit like that. That's highly toxic, but also obvious. I mean, you'll see it and you'll be like, "What?" that's that's literally delivering ultimatums left and right for no reason other than to serve your sinister agenda. You're definitely an enemy of XCOM, and as such, I will fucking break up with you. So, let's go on.
Triangulation. This happens when someone brings another person into your conversation or relationship to make you feel unsure or jealous. It's like if you and a friend are having a problem, and suddenly your friend starts talking a lot about how great another friend.
Look at how swaggy that this guy is. This guy, he's Akuma from fucking Street Fighter. He's ready to fight. Sorry, let's go on. Sorry.
Is in front of you. They do this to make you worry about your place in the friendship and try harder to please them. Withholding.
Yeah, that is like that's something that was used on me a lot as a child. Look at so and so, like look at Lawrence, look at Jim, look at Theo, look at this or that guy. They're also far more successful, and they disagree with you on certain things. You should really just try better. Yeah. Yeah. Disgusting. Moving on. It's obvious there's nothing to say about it. Moving on.
This is when someone refuses to talk to you or show you affection to make you feel unsure or to get you to do what they want. Imagine if someone you care about suddenly stops answering your texts or calls because they are upset with you. They do this to make you feel desperate to fix things, which gives them control over the situation. I
Isn't that like silent treatment though? Or is it like, I wonder what the person is going to say about the silent treatment then, because usually that's what silent treatment is. But hey, maybe I got it wrong, right? So let's see what it is when we get there. So far, withholding, I mean, yeah, it's silent treatment, which I shouldn't have to talk about it. You know, I've been on the receiving end of that way too many times. I fucking hate it, never done it in my life, and I detest it. And I think that if you're doing it, you need to get slapped. You need to get slapped so fucking hard you have no idea. You need to be beaten up. Total lesson. Like silent treatment is literally emotional abuse. But now I see that it is called withholding. So I wonder what is gonna go on with, like, because he does have, or they do have like a segment for silent treatment. So I wonder what the difference is gonna be. Maybe they're way too adjacent. Who knows? Anyway, moving on to isolation, I guess.
Isolation. This is when someone tries to keep you away from your friends and family. They might say things like, "We only need each other," or make you feel bad for spending time with others. They do this so you depend more on them and less on other people who might tell you that something is wrong.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That's some PTSD I'm getting from that one. Um, Both from family and also from some partners I've had over the years. Holy shit. That is absurdly common. Whenever you see a person, this is my opinion, okay? Whenever you see a person, or I'll use myself as an example, okay? Whenever I see a person, either towards me or towards like the relationship, trying to separate your times to a degree where it just becomes impossible to manage, dude, I'm running away. I'm personally gonna run away completely. Um, it can also work the other way around, where they're not letting you participate in what they're participating, and they also have no interest in you having, your own things to participate in. That's like the double whammy of this, right? Because they're also keeping you out of their shit. It's not like they want. It's not that they just want you under control when it comes to your side of things, but they also don't want to give you any venues on their end, which makes it double bad, when that happens. Yeah, yeah, there is nothing to say, because it's like, yeah, it is what it is, and just fucking keep your eyes open, I guess. What do you want me to say? There's nothing in depth to say here, other than monitoring how much time of your life the other person is hogging. But I will say though, it's also bad to try to preemptively stop it by putting arbitrary limits. Don't put any limits, but also when you want to go, just go. If you want to play a game with your friends, go and play a game with your friends, or ask your partner or your friend, do you also want to come with me? Don't exclude them. But also don't be like a victim to their whims of like, oh no, don't do that. Let's sit together and like let's spend the rest of the day, unless you've arranged for that. Obviously, arranged stuff just doesn't count in this one. Anyway, moving on.
Victim playing. This is when someone acts like they are always the one being hurt or treated badly, even if it's not true. For example, if you get upset because they did something wrong, they might say, "You're always blaming me for everything," even when they are at fault. This makes you feel sorry for them and stops you from complaining. Silence.
Yeah, I have had quite a load of that, of the victim playing. It's a very, that is common. Like victim playing is very common. You go like literally, it's literally what the hand said. It's like you're gonna be, hey, there is this issue between us. Maybe we should discuss it. And the other person is going like, okay, so you think everything I do is wrong, and I have like trauma from past relationships where people made me feel like I'm doing everything wrong. So, and they're priming you to never ever approach them with problems. Like, that's not how relationships work. A relationship like that is not gonna work. Like a relationship with a person like that, whether friendship or romantic, is just not gonna work. I'm sorry. We're all traumatized. Nobody likes arguing, and we all had like bad experiences. But when you find somebody that you feel is worth, you know, treading that territory for, then you do it. If the other person doesn't feel the same, then I'm sorry to tell you, from lots of personal experiences, it's best to just let go. Nothing healthy is gonna come out of that. People should be. I mean, there is a category of people who will tell you right up, "I'm just not ready," right? Um, yeah, move away from that. They're basically outing themselves that they're gonna be doing this, and that you're gonna be walking on eggshells with them. And some of them genuinely don't want you to go through that because maybe they just don't have control over doing that. But it doesn't change the fact that you should basically just turn around and walk the other way. Sadly, you know. And it's things like that have triggered the whole meme of like I'll fix her slash him slash them. But no, you should, like, in all seriousness, yeah, you can joke about it. You can joke about it in a sexual context and like be like, kinky, whatever. On a serious level, though, you can't fix people. They will probably break you. Very, very likely. That's how this works, because these situations, these mindsets, are not there for the person to be fixed, quote unquote. They're there to break you, because that works for them. Because hurt people will hurt people. Sometimes voluntarily, sometimes not, but that's just how it is. And the only way for them to heal is basically through therapy, through support and all that. And you cannot be someone's therapist and someone's like, support, like a good friend, and their partner as well, when they're like that. You're gonna have to pick one of them, and one of them should never be picked in these situations, and that's being their romantic partner. I'm sorry. And from personal experience, if you try to do that, because you know what, I've tried to do it way too many times and I care to admit, just because, and this is not a humble brag or a flex, but it's just because I'm caring, and when I see someone in distress, I want to be there. But in my stupid mind, I used to confuse it with like wanting to be with them, just because of the sympathy and empathy and like, that person is hurt, but I can show them that they don't have to be sad. And all these are genuinely nice things to feel towards someone, but they're not gonna be a good partner for you. And definitely, you're in, you're in over your head if you go for it. You know. So, just maybe either just be there for them, just be a friend, um, or if they're paying you, be their therapist. But I would say, don't try to fix it. Okay, lots of quotation marks there, just to use you know, the thing, just to say the thing. Don't try to fix them. Let them fix themselves through you, perhaps. In which case, if they're genuine, eventually they'll be like, hey, now I'm ready. I'm just oversimplifying. Just super oversimplifying. And obviously, I'm not a professional or a guru or a relationship guru. I'm just telling you what hasn't worked for me, what has worked for me, and what I deduced from it. But let's move on.
Silent treatment. This is when someone stops talking to you on purpose. If you have an argument, or if they're upset, They might ignore your calls or texts and act like you're not there when you're together. They do this to make you feel bad and to make you try harder to get their attention and approval. Negging.
Yeah, no, I'll say that that what the person said is withholding and silent treatment. Their difference is like 1%. Honestly, it is the same. Like somebody who does one of them, they'll do the other one. Like it is, they are intertwined on an existential level. Like these two shouldn't be separate. I'm not gonna lie. They should be the same. And yeah, I have received like so much of that. So fucking much of that. Literally, there are some tactics like this that once somebody knows them, and again, like hurt people will hurt people, so once it's done to them and they see how effective it was on them, they will be very likely using it against anyone else they meet. Until, you know, they manage to break out of that cycle and understand that what they're doing is basically doing unto others what was done unto them unfairly and, you know, unfortunately. And you cannot wake them up, like for real. You can try to tell them this is what they're doing, but it's gonna get you nowhere. It's literally gonna get you nowhere except in an argument. And it's always that these arguments, or most of the times, these arguments come when that person or such a person has already found their next, you know, interest, which is interesting, isn't it? It's also the opposite. Sometimes when we find our next interest, which looks healthier and more promising, then we kind of tell the other person, you've been doing this and that for years, and now I'm gonna go. And that is also extremely malicious. Like, if you're really interested in that person, let them know immediately if you want to let them know, if you want to push for that relationship. And again, I'm referring either to romantic or not, it doesn't matter. That's what I think. Because then, any right that you would have had in bringing it up, you basically give it up by just letting things build up in you. You know? There's also this other scenario where the other person is actually going to tell you themselves, hey, if you spot this or that, let me know because I want to improve. When in reality, what they're doing is, because that is like rarely ever genuine. What happens in most cases, in the crushing majority of cases like that, is basically they're telling you, let me know if you have any complaints so I can actually dump your stupid ass because, you know, you're probably too smart for me to manipulate. You know, usually that's what they mean, because nobody who wants or is ready to receive criticism is ever gonna turn around and tell you, if you spot something bad about me, do let me know and I promise I'll fix it. You know, no, don't. That's nah. Don't. It's a weird thing to say, honestly. But it's different also to say, hey, if you notice me being reacting, let's say, overly, I don't know, angry or what, and you find that, you know, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I've noticed that you're getting angry very easily, like maybe you should moderate that a little bit, then I guess it's more warranted to turn around and say, oh, you know what, cool, if you notice it, do let me know and I'll try to do what I can, and if not, you know, if the problem persists, I guess then it's something you can't really fix on your own and you need to, well, seek therapy, I guess. But anyway, moving on.
This is when someone gives you compliments that are actually insults, or they might criticize you in a sneaky way. For example, someone might say, "You're pretty smart for someone who doesn't read much." It sounds like a compliment, but actually makes you feel bad about yourself. They do this to shake your confidence so that you work harder to impress them.
I've never had any experience with this. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've never had any experience with any person telling me, for someone who is stupid, you are smart. You know, essentially, just simplifying it, or making comments like that. Sometimes I do that to myself. Like I myself do that to myself sometimes. But I've never seen anyone else just do that to me. which is not to say that it invalidates, other people's experiences. It's just that, like, I wonder how common that is. I've never actually seen it. Anyway, so I can't also comment on it because I've had no experience on it.
This is when someone makes your feelings or problems seem less important than they really are. For example, if you're upset about something and they say, "Why are you making such a big deal out of nothing?" It's a way of telling you that your feelings don't matter. They do this to make you doubt yourself and think maybe you are overreacting, which can stop you from standing up for yourself. Projecting.
And this is how you end up walking in onto your girlfriend or boyfriend or them friend, fucking someone else like in front of your eyes, and you going like but, and the person goes like, nah, you're it's just a friendly cuddle, like. or you're calling your friend and you go like, hey dude, you've been sending invitations to these things to everyone in our group except me, what the fuck? And the other person goes like, no, what? No, the other day I just sent you one, it never went through. Don't make such a big deal out of it. Like these things are so intertwined, these tactics. Usually somebody who engages in one of these is gonna engage in like at least 5 others, in some form or combination. I have been the victim of minimization plenty, and I hate it to the point where I became a fucking paladin, and I was like, hey, if I have an issue, bitch, we're solving it now, and if I have to force it, we're gonna force it, which is overcorrection, of course. It's overcorrection, and it's overreaction to having been on the receiving end of this kind of abuse. So yeah. And it has backfired in my case, where, for example, the issue was small, but my own emotional state was like, no, there are no small issues, and if there are issues, we are going to fix them, and we're going to fix them now, and also it's going to happen my way, because fuck your way in trusting you. But let me be honest with you, the times that I have been at fault, the ratio of times that I have not been at fault for reacting like this, compared to the times I have been at fault, is like 101. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, yeah, it has happened and then it has backfired, but it was like maybe not 100, but like maybe 1 in 10 times it was just me overreacting. Not 100, obviously. But usually it is a manipulation. I would say, if the other person, first of all, run away. But if you don't want to run away, because maybe you think the person is genuine with you, and if you don't want to run away, but you want to fix it, again, quotation marks, in that case, I would say stop giving their input as much weight as you are, and start taking initiative. Like you clearly see that for whatever reason, the other person is just not engaging with the solutions or issues that you're suggesting exist, and going like, no, that's not a big deal, or just keeping it low and saying, for example, oh, I feel neglected, and the other person goes like, nah, it's been a week. What's a week, right? Huh? You're overreacting. I haven't talked to you in like 7 days. That's fine. Sometimes it happens, that's fine. And you go like, yeah, but like, we're partners. Like, we're not spending time together. You're avoiding me. And the other person is going to continue going like, okay, no, you know what? Nah, you're just overplaying it. Or, oh, you don't let me see my friends. And, shit like that, trying to deflect, trying to dodge, trying to do all those things. In that case, for example, what you can do is like simply take initiative by actively seeking them out. And at that point, you have every right to turn and say, hey, I've been trying to engage you and you've been non-responsive, so I think I need a break. That's it. Like, my feelings matter. I expect different things from my partner. You can also be very polite and say, maybe I didn't explain that, but like, I do require certain contact. Like, for me, 1 week is not going to work, like, without, contact. That's not going to work. Like, either you're willing to do something about it, You know, you can even go as far as I said, just apologize a little bit indirectly by saying like, hey, maybe that wasn't clear, maybe I should have said so, but that's not working for me. So let's solve it, or well, I'll be gone, because we don't have the same standards, I guess, for whatever kind of relationship you have with a person, friendship or otherwise, right? And I found that works, like that kind of approach where you're taking the initiative and you're setting the boundaries, while also making sure that you don't hurt the other person's feelings. I found it to be very disarming, and I found it to actually work. But it can be very difficult to do, especially if you're like me, where you really you have trouble, for which, by the way, I overcorrect, by the way. I'm just saying, I overreact and overcorrect about it. But yeah, if you have trouble cutting people off, or just walking away from something that's just clearly not suited for you, and you're not suited for it, if you have difficulty doing that, this is gonna be hard for you. It's been extremely hard for me, but I'm just telling you ideally what should happen, in my opinion, after experiencing it. Anyway, projecting.
This is when someone blames you for things that they are actually doing themselves. For example, if they are being unkind, they might accuse you of being unkind to them. It confuses you because you start defending yourself instead of addressing their behavior. This tactic shifts the focus from what they are doing wrong to defending yourself against false accusations.
You know what's even worse? Preemptive projection. So somebody telling you, I'm so afraid that you're gonna cheat on me. Well, let me tell you, with an accuracy of 99.9%, people who have said this to me were the ones who cheated on me soon after, or soonish after. They're preemptively projecting. They know they won't be able to stop themselves, and they're not honest enough with you to come out and say, hey, I would like to also see other people, for example. I hate this preemptive projection. I fucking hate it. And I hate how, literally, maybe it's just my bad RNG or something, but whenever somebody has told me that, oh boy, is it a huge red flag for me. Yeah, nah. It also shows, like, at best, it shows a person who is, admittedly, like I've been, ready to overreact on anything they deem has been whatever trespass they think it's been. But at least that can be, what do you call it? That can be cushioned, at least. But the real thing, which usually is the case, yeah. So projecting is horrible. Yeah, that's true. But preemptive projecting, that is even worse, because you can see it coming. You just don't want to see it coming. But you know. People usually, again, exactly because hurt people will hurt people. They're probably gonna do it to you at some point, if they feel it's justified. And trust me, people like that ain't gonna take your input on whether or not something like that would have been justified. They're just gonna go ahead and do it because they know better. Anyway, moving on.
That wraps up our look at 12 common manipulation tactics. Recognizing.
All right, interesting. Moving on. Every unconscious bias, the horns effect, anchor, overconfidence. I'm interested, okay? Count me in. I'm fucking interested. Let's see what this is about then.
Gender bias. This is the favoring of one gender over another, and is also often referred to as sexism. This bias occurs when someone unconsciously associates certain stereotypes with different genders, such as being strong, aggressive, and bold for men, and being polite, accommodating, and nurturing for women. If the hiring panel favors male candidates over female candidates, even though they have similar skills and job experience, is one example. Ageism.
Oh yeah. I mean, what do you want me to say about that, right? I don't think I should have anything to say about that. This is literally like gender bias was a huge issue for the job market in Greece, um, from very early on to very recently. As far as time is concerned, when we're talking about statistics and such. Um, yeah, up until like 10, 15 years ago, um, if you were a woman in Greece, every door for every job opportunity was literally open to you. All you needed was like basically the right genitals or whatever, and a good pair of boobs, and everything was open to you. It was amazing, uh, in the worst sense ever. It just makes me fucking cringe just thinking about it. Anyway, yeah, it was really, really bad. It was really, really bad in Greece, to the point where ads for jobs would be like, literally, we're asking for a presentable female to work. Like they would say that a presentable, like or they would even word it worse, and that was considered normal. It was crazy. Let me tell you, it was crazy. Anyway, let's move on to ageism, I guess.
This refers to stereotyping or discriminating against others based on their age, often happening to older people because they are seen as if they set in their ways and can't learn new things, having memory problems or dementia. If an older team member was passed over for a promotion, which ended up going to a younger team member with less seniority and experience, is one example. Name.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, I think ageism is a relic of the 80s and 90s, in my opinion at least. And it has resurfaced in a different form lately, where apparently if you cross 30, you're now considered old and like out of limits as a friend or a partner by people that are like even 10 years younger. It's insane. It is insane. It is absolutely insane. You could call me biased because I myself am 43 now. But no, in reality, it's actually really fucking bad. I'm not gonna lie. Don't even get me started on the issue of considering someone over 25 to be old. That is like, I like to call that like the anime effect, or one of the effects that anime has had on society. I was always pretty sure that was gonna happen, and it did happen. I called it out way too early that like by portraying characters so young constantly and praising like youth to an absurd point will eventually cause people to think that like not being 16 or something is already old, way too old. And maybe 16 is like a more exaggerated example, because 16 is like, yeah, you're a kid basically. But like add a few years and you got the same example and it works, you know? You're 19 and you're thinking that everyone over fucking 25, they're already in the grave for you. They're already in the grave. They can't be your friend. They can't be anything. They're senior citizens. Like what? Okay, cool shit. Anyway, what is this name thing?
Bias. This is the tendency to prefer certain names over others, usually Anglo-sounding names, and is often related to race. If a name sounds African, Indian, or anything non-Western, people may make assumptions about that person or rule them out of opportunities. For example, if a manager receives 2 CV with the name on top, he rather proceeds to look at the names first than at the reams of experience and qualifications. Beauty bias.
Yeah, that's nasty. That one is nasty. I wouldn't say it's way too common or something, but yeah, it's definitely racism, is what it is. But it's specifically focused on that because you don't even. It's one of those cases where you don't even see the person, haven't met them even, but just because of the name, you are immediately, you know, negatively predisposed, let's say. Um, However, there is a form of it, uh, which is not racist per se. Um, and that is like whenever, just a side note, right? Whenever I will see somebody unironically calling themselves something like Darkness, Dementia, Raven, Stockenholm, or whatever, and they're like, you know that you're in for some kind of like wild trip with that person, Okay, so sometimes, which has nothing to do with race, by the way, it is just like, it has to do a lot with cringe. Like, yeah, you know what I mean, dude. I am guilty of that, let's say, because growing up in the 80s and 90s, whoever had like names like I can't even like damn, I can't even make a good example, but I have met so many, especially during my goth clubbing years. I'm still in my goth clubbing years, by the way, I guess. But you meet some people. Oh, here's an example. There was this girl who was called, and by the way, I want you to know, back then we would be calling each other with their MySpace names, which is also why I was V before before V was a thing for Cyberpunk, because on MySpace for a while, one of my cringy goth nicknames that I had been using was Violence. And so people wouldn't say the whole word, obviously, because it's awkward in Greek to say that, for a Greek person, I guess, to say it. So they would call me V. And I was V, goth kid, clubbing in like cyberpunk situations before Cyberpunk introduced V as a character. It's so funny to me. But yeah, so about the name that I was gonna tell you about, right? It was a girl who was calling herself fucking deity, and you knew, and it was correct. They had the biggest opinion of themselves. They were acting like they were the shit, man. And let me tell you, they were acting like they were the shit. They owned the place. Oh god. So in such cases, I mean, it's not racist, but you can service a few things. But it mostly has to do with nicknames, right? Anyway, yeah, the beauty thing, I assume the beauty thing, the name thing, and the age thing, and the other thing, like the gender bias, all these are so related, you know?
Bias. This refers to the favorable treatment and positive stereotyping of individuals who are considered more attractive because of the assumption that physically attractive individuals also possess other desirable personality traits, such as intelligence, social competence, and morality. This has also given rise to the term lookism, which is discrimination based on physical appearance. An example is a hiring manager who is more inclined to hire candidates they think are good-looking. Halo.
There is a side of this that the disembodied voice didn't touch on, but I'm gonna touch on it. It's not that they think the person is more intelligent or, you know, has higher moral standards. It's just they look more appealing sexually to them, and therefore they're gonna favor them. It's that simple. Sometimes it is really that simple. At least in Greece it was. Let's go on.
Halo effect. This occurs when an overall positive impression of someone is developed because of one of their good qualities or traits. This effect may lead to inadvertently put people on a pedestal since an image of a person based on limited information is being constructed. An example is when a hiring manager sees that a candidate graduated from a prestigious school and assumes that they excel at their job. Horns effect.
Yeah, so this, holy shit. I have been on the receiving end of that, believe it or not. At least several relationships I've had in real life began because the person saw one quality of mine in which I had rolled all my stats, and they did not see what I was telling them, that, you know, I'm not really as good as they think I am. And they always thought, nah, nonsense, you're just being humble, or you're just like, you know, being You self-deprecate in that. And no, all I was doing was like basically telling them, look, it's not gonna work because even though you like, the fact that I am exposing my ass and that's a nice ass to look at, doesn't mean that we should have a relationship. And I was just being realistic. And I knew after a while as well, towards the point where I would see it as a red flag when someone would like completely swoon over me just because I exist. It already was like, even at that point, it was already too late. It was like I was tired. But no, I've been on the receiving end of that, and that's not a humble brag. It's not a disguised flex. It led to a lot of pain, a lot of emotional pain. Seeing the other person trying to fit a circle into square, and failing, and then that also like backfiring on me in many ways, including out of self-guilt, trying to do the same, trying to make things work when they very clearly wouldn't. Oof. That one is, yeah. Anyway, horns effect. Let's see.
Effect. This is the opposite of the halo effect. This causes to have a negative impression of someone based on one trait or experience. Putting too much weight on a single trait or interaction with someone can lead to inaccurate and unfair judgments of their character. For example, a new team member thinks the constructive criticism they received from their manager is harsh and assumes that their manager is a critical and stern person. Confirmation bias.
Well, shit, I feel called out. I actually have to actively, to a lesser degree in the recent years, I've been able to minimize it. But I used to do that. I would give people chances, I would give people the opportunity, but for many reasons, when I saw certain things, I would immediately assume certain other things about the person. So yeah, ouch. Well, I'm better now, but yeah, don't do that. It's bad. It's bad. Honestly, it's really, and when you realize you're doing it or you have been doing it for a while, it's gonna make you so. It's gonna make you so sad. You're gonna feel so bad for yourself. Trust me. But yeah, moving on.
Bias. This is the tendency to seek out and use information that confirms one's views and expectations. This affects the ability to think critically and objectively, which can lead to skewed interpretations of information and overlooking information with opposing views. For example, a product developer comes up with a product idea for the athletic market. Although market research shows little interest in the product, they try to validate the idea by reaching out to athlete friends who they know will support the idea.
Yeah, this is a very slippery and sneaky trap you can fall into. I've fallen into that a few times. It's it sucks, and you know what the most recent time was? I'll tell you right now. When we were watching Adam Something's video about 40K, just because they said a few things in the beginning uh, on which I agreed on, and they presented their case in such a way that I really just didn't see how it could escalate into such a shit take in the end. And by the end of like that video, I was like, I don't know if you watched it, you would have been like, why are you saying you're agreeing with that person 90%, but only 10% is like stinging? Yeah, that was me facing my confirmation bias. That was me going like, I want to agree with what the person is saying. I am looking for the things they say that I can agree on, so that then I can say that I agree with them completely. But then as the video went on, I just couldn't agree with the person anymore after they presented their whole case, you know. Not such a terrible accident, let's say. And I mostly, and by mostly I mean at least 80%, still hold the view that like Adam Something did have a few good points to make for sure, but at the same time, yeah, it was all in all, that video was a little bit L, you know. for a few reasons that I discussed in my own video about it actually. So even though I was struggling with this in the moment, I also did criticize the points I wanted to criticize, and I did share my opinion on them. But I did feel this kind of like, I can only explain it as a jarring feeling, as a feeling of, how can I explain it? It's like somebody says A, and you go like, yeah, A, that's yeah, let's go. And then it says B, and you're like, yeah, let's go B, that's awesome, yeah, B, dude. And then the guy says C as well, and you go like, yeah, C, okay, so you see, I probably just agree with everything. And then the guy says, but also X, and you're like, wait. Why did they just say that I agree with this person so much without waiting? And then that creates in you this kind of guilt. But no, you shouldn't have this guilt, because at the end of the day, if you do express your criticism, and if you do correct yourself where you needed to correct yourself, and if you can filter what it is that they're saying that you agree with, as well as like what you don't agree with, then you're good to go. Even if you did fall in the trap, you're still good to go. And that's where I gave myself a pass on this one and didn't like mention it or anything, or try to correct it or anything. Nor will I apologize for it. It's like, yeah, that guy had, and this is a good example because it's very recent, and it's a very recent example of mine, that I personally experienced. And my way of coping with it in general is to remind myself, and sometimes others around me, that hey, my opinions can change. I don't have to have opinions set in stone. They can change even within the same minute. Somebody can strike me as an amazing person, and I can turn around and tell my friends that's an amazing person, and then they might do something that is absolutely fucking despicable, and then I'll say, oh, you know what, fuck that. And then, people around me would say, hey, didn't you just say that like this and that? And I'm like, yeah, but I changed my mind. Not in an unreliable way of like, oh, I changed my mind whatever and whenever I want, but more in a way of like, yeah, well, I found out this and now I changed my mind. That's it. That's how things work. Anyway, moving on.
Conformity bias. It's similar to groupthink, which occurs when opinions or behaviors change to match that of the bigger group.
Which is not to say, I just wanted to add, which is not to say that I condemned my video on Adam Something's 40k video. Not at all. Everything I said in there stands perfectly. I was just giving you a good example of it, of like confirmation bias.
Even if it doesn't reflect one's opinions. This bias may occur when peer pressure is encountered, or when trying to fit into a certain social group or professional environment. For example, a team is deciding between two proposals. One person thinks proposal A is better, but the rest of the team is leaning towards proposal B. That person is swayed by their opinions and ends up voting for proposal B because everyone else did. Affinity.
This one is something that I usually instinctively overreact to by being completely adamant sometimes. Like whenever I detect or I feel peer pressure, I become a fucking fortress. I'm just like, no, you know what? You all guys like that? Well, fuck you. I don't want to be part of that. Like whenever I'm being bombarded with like, oh, you should play this game. You should really play this game. This game is so amazing. Everyone is saying it, but you're not playing it. Why the fuck are you not? Dude, it makes me overreact and go like, I'm never playing that shit. Fuck you. Fuck every one of you. I don't care about it. And I don't do it like in a bad way. Like I don't do it like in a. I don't mean bad. When I do that, it's just that like I don't like peer pressure. I react to peer pressure by literally just becoming a wall. I'm like, nope, sorry, that's not the way to win me over. That's really not the way to win me over. And it can get worse if I detect that the other people are liking the same thing that they want me to try, and telling me to like it for the same reasons, and indirectly don't allow me to not like it. I will then literally hate whatever that thing is. I will hate it with my whole heart, and I will never fucking touch it. And that's a shame, and it's overcorrection, of course. But that one I have not found a good way to deal with. I just hate peer pressure because I've seen what it can do. So conformity, I guess, as the guy says, as the hand says. I hate it. I hate it to the point where I will react completely opposite to it. I will just literally refuse. So yeah, I don't know. Bombarding someone with your opinions on something and backing it up with other people having the same opinion is the fastest way you can get me to disagree completely with what you're about to tell me or what you're trying to tell to me, you know. That's me personally, though. Whatever.
Bias. This refers to the tendency to favor people who share similar interests, backgrounds, and experiences. Feeling more comfortable tends to be made by people who are like us. For example, a hiring manager gravitates towards a job applicant because they went to the same university. Contrast effect.
I have done that a lot in the past. I've dropped it, but I've done it a lot in the past. It's something that is like very easy to slip into, like extremely easy. It's as easy as like, are you playing League of Legends? Then I automatically like, you know, we connect. That kind of thing. I have completely moved away from that, obviously, like for a very long while, I guess. Or I used to be like, oh, you know, a trans person. We're totally sisters now. I moved away from that like very early on, from any form of that. And much like the confirmation, I think, bias that we just watched, much like that anyway, if it was that, if I see people banding together just because they play League of Legends or just because they like whatever, I don't know, football or whatever, I immediately don't want to be part of that group. I just immediately like go, nah, sorry, it's not gonna work. You're all fucking crazy. You're a cult at this point, which is overreacting, of course. But again, it has roots in like never being accepted in any group. For example, like it was very difficult for me to be part of any group because I wasn't like I didn't have desirable traits back then, and I guess that was early on in life. Where now I just, you know, I just don't want to be part of those groups because they hurt me. I don't want to be part of groups because groups hurt me or have hurt me in the past. I'm trying to work through that. And I believe I've done like considerable progress, but it can still happen sometimes. But anyway, moving on.
Judgments are often made by comparing. As a result, judgments may be altered depending on what standard something is being compared to. For instance, a meets expectations rating on a performance review is received with happiness by a team member. However, inadequacy is felt after finding out that most of their colleagues received exceeds expectations on their reviews. Even though a decent review was received, more critical self-judgment occurs since the comparison standard is their colleagues' results.
I've never experienced that, to be honest. I'm kind of the opposite, where, you know, if I meet a criteria, then I'm actually happy. If I see other people meeting the same criteria, I'm also actually happy for them. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I've never experienced this, and I don't know. Do I know anyone that has ever? I don't know. Probably not. Anyway, moving on. I don't have experience with this, I think.
Status quo bias. This describes the preference for the way things are or for things to remain as they are, which can result in resistance to change. Following the status quo is a safe option and takes less effort, but it also results in becoming stagnant. An example is the continuing hirement of team members from the same demographic group. Anchor bias.
Oh yeah, status quo bias is everywhere. It's everywhere. You want a relevant example? The 40K videos, right? The one that I made, my stream. All these people just not wanting to accept things changing, Or you want a better example? People not accepting gender identity, for example. Like, dude, just move on with the times. Seriously. Status quo bias is so fucking real. It is so fucking real. Yeah. It's bad. It's just very bad, honestly.
Bias. This occurs when the first piece of information received is overly relied upon as an anchor for decision-making. This causes things to be seen from a narrow perspective. For example, the first thing found out about a candidate by a recruiter is that they were unemployed for the past year. This fact is focused on by the recruiter rather than the candidate's solid qualifications and skills. Authority bias.
Yeah. I don't personally do that, but I'm pretty sure that, it has been done to me plenty. And to many other people, I would assume. Like, this sounds like this sounds way too real and dangerous. I mean, obviously it's real. But yeah, that one is pretty dangerous. Holy shit. Anyway.
This refers to the tendency to believe in authority figures and follow their instructions. Generally, following a trusted authority figure with relevant expertise is a good idea. However, blindly following a leader's direction without one owns critical thinking may cause future issues. For example, if a team member unquestionably follows their manager's instructions to write a report in a way that matches the manager's opinions, this could jeopardize the integrity of the report.
Yeah, that's something that is like very prevalent now with YouTube and influencers, and like, now with the internet is what I would say if I was like 60, for example. I guess is what you would think, but like, I don't think I would be saying that when I'm 60, but like, for real though, it is a thing, and it's very dangerous when people flock to influencers. I'm specifically talking about influencers, but in reality, every single politician, every single guru, every single religious figure, yeah, you will see this authority bias. Damn, it's just sad anyway.
Overconfidence bias. This is the tendency for people to think they are better at certain abilities and skills than they actually are. Rash decisions can be led to by a false assessment of our skill levels, stemming from an illusion of knowledge or control. For instance, an overconfident CEO decides to acquire a startup that he sees high potential in and believe will bring high returns, even though their performance indicates otherwise.
For a long time, this was my way to cope with how low my self-esteem was. And it took quite a long while to balance it out properly. But yeah, eventually it happened. And yeah, holy shit. I've been I realized that like throughout my early years, I have been like, going from one extreme to the other a lot until it balanced out, which I guess it makes sense because, part of growing up is trying things, and usually you're gonna do that clumsily, and it might lead to some of those situations. And this overconfidence bias thing, yeah, that was a thing for me, but yeah, not anymore, not to an unhealthy degree, I would say, anymore. But yeah, let's go on. Interesting.
Perception bias. This occurs when others are judged or treated based on often inaccurate, overly simplistic stereotypes and assumptions. Other biases such as gender, age, and appearance may be involved. This type of bias may result in social exclusion and discrimination. For example, a teammate is not invited to an after-work social event by a team member because it was assumed that similar interests would not be shared with the group.
Yeah, that ties in with quite a few things that already were mentioned. Holy shit, yeah, we've all been victims of that, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, what's the easiest example I can bring up? Can you guess? It's basically being a trans person. Like, yeah, I don't need to say anything. The guy said everything.
Illusory correlation. This occurs when two variables, events, or actions are associated together, even though they are unrelated. For example, a candidate is asked interview questions by a hiring manager in an effort to gain insight into their personality. but the questions are unrelated to the job itself. Since answers are struggled with by the candidate, it is decided by the hiring manager that they would not be a good fit. Affect heuristic.
Wait, what? Let me hear this again.
After-work social event by a team member because it was assumed that similar interests would not be shared with the group. Illusory correlation. This occurs when two variables, events, or actions are associated together, even though they are unrelated. For example, a candidate is asked interview questions by a hiring manager in an effort to gain insight into their personality, but the questions are unrelated to the job itself. Since answers are struggled with by the candidate, it is decided by the hiring manager that they would not be a good fit.
Oh, okay, I get it, I get it. Nothing to say. I get it. It just confused me a little bit in the beginning, okay.
Affect heuristic. This occurs when emotions are relied upon to make decisions. This may help a conclusion be reached more quickly, though it may not always be accurate or fair. For example, an offhand comment that offends a recruiter is made by an interview candidate, though that wasn't their intention. The candidate is rejected by the recruiter because they were vexed by the comment, even though the candidate was the most qualified.
Well, to be fair, this affect heuristic thing, I'm sorry, but there are certain limits. Like, if somebody is qualified, right, in this example, but they see me, and let's say that I am the one conducting the interview, right? And they go like, "Oh, you're one of them, aren't you?" Or something underhanded like that, you know, that denotes like some vein of like racism towards trans people, for example. I would draw the line right there. So I guess that's something that I'm not willing to give up, and something that I do often. Let's say let's say that I'm looking for a guild member, right? And maybe they're a very good player, and they would be otherwise a very good fit for the group. But then they do something or say something like, for example, in my guild's rules, let's say I have like I have like a rule that is like, when you join, change your Discord name to reflect your account name so we know who you are. That's rules like that are very easy to follow and simple, are there for me at least to show me that the person actually did read the rules and they are willing to understand them and like accept them and, you know, conform to them. If they don't, even though they might like you know tick 9 other boxes, that 10th box is enough for me to say, hey, you're out. Because even though they're going to be a valuable member, they're just not going to fit in. And for me, it's more important to fit in than to be a valuable member, if that makes sense. A valuable in terms of like skills and you know, practical things like that. And that's an easy example. Or, you know, somebody can be a really nice person, but like they might be racist, believe it or not. They might have like some really enviable qualities as a character, but they're racist. Would you actually say, oh, I should still hire them because I don't want to be affected by, like, you know, this bias? I would be, no, fuck it. This bias is pure W. Get fucked, kid. You're not getting hired. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but it's so true. Like, that's my opinion, and I'm gonna die on that hill. I'm sorry. I'm gonna die on that fucking hill. And if that's a bias, then it's one that I don't care correcting, let's say.
Recency bias. This occurs when greater importance is attributed to recent events over past events because they are easier to remember. This bias is more likely to occur when a large amount of information has to be processed. For example, job applications screened earlier during the day are harder to be recalled by hiring managers as there are so many candidates. Idiosyncratic rater bias.
Yeah, I understand it. The recency thing. You can avoid that easily, it seems to me. But I will BRB, and then we'll see the last two, and then I'll figure out what we're gonna do. But for now, I'll be right back. Give me 5. Hello. Ouch. Okay. So the recency thing, I don't know. Seems to me like something, some kind of fallacy or bias. Sorry, yawning. In the lines of, you see a company release a product, and because you like the product and it's the most recent thing you've seen of them, you just don't look into it too much. And you go like, yeah, I like this company. They're good guys, for example, but in reality, they maybe have some shady history or whatever. You know, that kind of thing a little bit. That's what it reminds me of. Anyway, let's move on to the next two.
Yes. This affects the way the performance of others is evaluated. Others are often rated based on subjective interpretations of the assessment criteria and personal definitions of what success looks like. In other words, reliability in rating other people is generally low. For example, higher standards for project management skills are applied by a manager who excels in this area, leading to harsher ratings for team members in this skill. On the other hand, more lenient ratings are given to team members' marketing skills by the manager, as less familiarity with that area exists. Attribute.
Oh yeah, this is usually okay. So a very easy example of that, which I hate, I absolutely hate that, is when someone is really good at something, and you're genuinely trying to get into that something, but you're not as good as that person, and that person goes like, it's easy and you should be able to do that. And the moment you hear that, you already know that if you don't do that while also making it look easy, you're gonna fail their expectations. And it also becomes clear that their expectations are only based on their own ability, right? And that's something that always was bugging me, mostly within the gaming communities, where you would have like people who are like, oh yeah, that's easy, you should be able to do that, and you're like, bro, you know. Yeah, no, that's very common actually. That is so common. In everywhere, not just gaming, but gaming was the first example that came to my head. Anyway.
Attribution bias. This occurs when the reasons behind the experiences and accomplishments of others are incorrectly evaluated. Usually, it is believed that luck is responsible for individuals' successes, whereas effort or skill is seen as the cause behind their negative experiences or failures. Thanks for.
The what now? Wait, let me listen to that again.
Attribution bias. This occurs when the reasons behind the experiences and accomplishments of others are incorrectly evaluated. Usually, it is believed that luck is responsible for individuals' successes, whereas effort or skill is seen as the cause behind their negative experience.
I get the first part, and that's something that, like, perhaps a jealous person would be like, or not jealous, but also maybe somebody who can't see their own faults as well. And they're like, how did that person succeed when I think that they are actually inferior than me? It must have been luck. Yeah, I can see that. Though, to be fair, a lot can be said about it. Like, for example, YouTube success, right? Or Twitch success. There's a lot of luck involved in that, barring, of course, talent and, like, likability and, like, all of that shit, charisma, charm, all of that shit. There is also an element of RNG, and this is why, like, it's so hard to make it on Twitch and YouTube. It's actually quite hard to make it. And it might have nothing to do with the person's ability. So in some cases, actually, yes, in some cases it's true. For example, my 40k video getting like half a thousand views at this point. What? I didn't do anything that I haven't been doing or have been doing differently for the last 6 years. But hey, that one got visibility. Whoa. I didn't do anything different. I'm not different. I'm the same person. I stream the same way and I post my videos the same way, and that's it for years now. That one just got 500 views, 500-ish views. So what was that if not luck? Like, for real, what was that? If not luck, what the fuck was it? So in some cases, actually, But this second part, though, of course, I recognize that obviously some people are going like, why him and not me in some cases. But hey, the validity of which can vary wildly. So I'm not even sure it can be a bias, but more like an observation that it can happen. But this last bit, what the fuck is that? I don't get that. I don't get this last bit. The lower performance of others is seen as a result of their effort. So it's like you're glad that they failed because that means to you that you're still superior. And so so you unfairly say, oh, they tried their best. Of course they're inferior, but they tried their best. Whereas when they're above you, you go like, well, that was just luck. I can kind of see it, but I have never honestly experienced anyone genuinely believing that maybe the wording is just problematic for my brain. Maybe the wording is a little bit weird for my brain. But if I see it separately in a vacuum, I've never seen anyone ever say this. Like, oh, they failed. They must have tried so hard. They did so great effort. I don't get it. And that being a bias, maybe together. Maybe if it's the same person who does that, then that can be a bias. Yeah, okay. But like in a vacuum, that second part makes zero sense, and I've never seen it. I don't know. But that's just me, of course. Obviously, that's just me, Anyway, let's roll it and then see what we can do.
Experiences or failures. Thanks for watching.
Well, that's it. I don't have much else for you. It's been like 2 hours. I don't think that anything else is necessary right now for a chill Saturday stream. Yeah. I'm still having my coffee. It's been 2 hours. It's the same fucking coffee. That's pretty cool, I guess. No pun intended, because it's actually cold now. But hey, I had fun. I enjoyed my morning. It has been like an interesting morning discussion. Yeah. I don't know. I'm horrible at closing streams when I'm not ready for it, because to be honest, I would like to stream more. At the same time, I don't want to, I have to stop overdoing it. Or what I consider overdoing anyway with streaming. Maybe I just want to chill and play some Guild Wars or something like that, but not on stream though. So I think I will leave you. And yeah, it was a relief to finally go through these 2 videos. And I do have another one that I would like to look at with you, and that one is probably going to be a more heated discussion. And the video itself is also an hour long or so that's gonna be probably Monday material. Monday pre-Baldur's material is probably what it's gonna be. Either that or just straight up consume my whole Tuesday stream. Because there is a lot to be said, I feel. I did watch it, not to the end, but most of it I did watch. I'm not even sure what I'll be able to say, but I think it's interesting to just rewatch it with you and see what we make out of it, or what I make out of it. I'm not gonna even spoil the topic, but yeah. I feel like, it's worth a just chatting stream. I feel like I find it interesting anyway. So with this and that, having teased you for my next just chatting, Monday's gonna be primarily a Baldur's Gate 3 day when it comes to streaming. We have arranged it with Neris and Kaori. We want to catch up and make up for the lost time, you know, due to Neris's PC issues and, you know, all that shit. We've missed a couple of Mondays, at least, if not 3. So we're gonna make up for it this Monday, and read Act 3 as well. It's gonna be very interesting. And then Tuesday, I have no idea. That's why I'm saying that probably just chatting with that huge video. Yeah. Keep in mind everything I said about, you know, any comments and all that shit on YouTube. And yeah, I might, you know what, if there is nothing else to do, I might also just work out on Tuesday on stream. Might as well do that. Why not? That's good. That's good filler, in my opinion, and it also helps me. At least motivates me to work out more whenever I do it. Because I feel like I'm waiting for something to trigger me to work out more. I'm not sure what I'm waiting for. Maybe it's this stream. Who the fuck knows? But for now, I will let you be. And I'll thank you for watching. I thank you for the follows, and I thank the subscriber on YouTube. So I'm covered on that end. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Fucking finally, fewer tabs on my on my Chrome, because those tabs were, you know, right there for a long time. Either way, yeah, thank you, and I'll catch you Monday, and we're gonna have fun with Baldur's, and there is no question about it. Have a great Saturday and a great Sunday as well. Treat yourself to something and stay safe and be cool, okay? Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Bye bye.